Warlords, rise from the land of doom. 1 Chapter 1, Nightmare Prediction. Storm Lord. In the Baron's castle study, Nerent, who was lying on the desk, was already sweating profusely. His closed eyelids kept shaking, accompanied by the clucking of his teeth rubbing constantly. Obviously, his dream at this time was not wonderful. Nerent suddenly opened his eyes, sat up stiffly, and looked around. In horror. After seeing the environment he was in, he relaxed the muscles of his whole body, and he had some lingering fears. Another immersive nightmare? Could it be that my crossing method is wrong? Traversing to a lord who holds the title of knight, it is reasonable to say that this is a good start, but in just 1 week, he had 2 extremely real nightmares in a row, which made Nerent very uneasy. This is a fantasy world with a medieval background, where there are noble knights and fighting monsters. What's even more fantastic is that this world also has a magical meteor shower that occurs every other week. The meteor shower brings luck to the world, but also brings crisis. Fortunately, it is because the meteorites dropped by the meteor shower are likely to contain precious treasures. The crisis is because the meteor shower sometimes brings not necessarily treasures, but terrifying dark creatures. Evil, bloodthirsty, and powerful, dark creatures are a disaster when they appear. Unfortunately, the territory Nerent now owns is often invaded by dark creatures, and it is a terrifying place known as the Land of Doom. The original owner of Nerent's body was frightened and died of a high fever on the way after learning that he was assigned to the Land of Doom. Dong dong dong. Grown-ups. A dull knock came from outside the study. Come in. Nerent ordered. Sir, good news. Under your wise deployment, Captain Quick successfully killed a skeleton warrior and a skeleton shooter. In the meteor shower tonight, the territory did not suffer any losses. The castle. Steward Thomas walked in quickly, with a smile on his face. What? Nerent was stunned, and the good news was a bit harsh. The nightmare turned out to be real. 7 days ago, Nerent had his first nightmare, in which 2 meteors would land on the territory with dark creatures. Because the dream was too real, Nerent dispatched the guards suspiciously. But now the facts tell him that the nightmare is an omen, and it will really happen on the territory. In this way, wouldn't the second nightmare he just had on his desk come true? In the second nightmare, next week's meteor shower will bring more dark creatures, an astonishing 30 or so, as well as a hellhound and a headless horseman. Thinking of this, Nerent lowered his head slowly and looked at the parchment on the table. In February of 3555, the meteor shower brought 24 dark creatures to the storm leader, including 12 skeleton warriors, 10 skeleton archers, and 2 hellhounds. That night, the castle of the Baron was breached, and no one in the castle was spared. Lord Baron died in battle. In May of the same year, Baron Bond took over as Lord of the Storm, and the meteor shower struck again that month, bringing 10 skeleton warriors, 10 skeleton archers, 1 hellhound. The Baron's castle was breached, and Baron Bond died in battle. In October of the same year, Baron Pete took over as Lord of the Storm. The meteor shower brought 31 dark creatures. Baron Pete died in battle. In July of the second year, Baron Doc took over as Lord of Stormwind. Baron Doc died in battle. The lessons from the past are vivid in his mind, and Nerent only felt that the scythe of death was already on his neck, and maybe he was about to become the 5th Lord to die in the storm. What should I do? Do you want to flee the territory immediately? But what will happen to the citizens after fleeing the territory? If they die, let alone keep the title and territory. I guess I will be convicted by the Count. Half a month ago, Lord Count Tulip suddenly issued a decree. Assemble a second son of all his vassals and grant them a knighthood and a fief respectively. If the second sons of these vassals can make achievements within 3 years, the person with the best performance will be awarded the permanent hereditary baron title, and will have the opportunity to marry the only heir to the Earl, Miss Stella, the flower of the tulip. For the second sons who have no right of inheritance, this is simply a pie that fell from the sky, and the original owner was one of the people who was hit by the pie. But it's clear that Nerent now has to choose between staying alive and losing the pie. My God? Can you come up with a way to get the best of both worlds? Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the main quest, the first nightmare prediction. The system is successfully bound, and the weekly lottery function is successfully opened. The mission reward has been issued, 1 energy point. Ding! Main quest, the second nightmare prediction has been released. Please prepare the host and complete the quest. The reward for the second mission is 5 energy points. Completion rate 0/28. Suddenly, there was a ding-ding sound in his mind, and Narent couldn't help but be taken aback. Is this the standard configuration of a traverser? Could this second nightmare prediction be the one just now? For a while, Narent didn't know whether to cry or be happy. He had to know that he only had 11 official guards, but the system wanted him to kill 28 dark creatures. I can only see if the system is working or not, or I'll be dead this time. Narent noticed that after the system was bound, a system panel had appeared on his retina, and he looked at it with a sad face. The system panel is very simple, and currently there are only 2 functions, namely the Lucky Girl's Guide and a search function. Lucky Girl's Book. It is a book that can identify the lucky girl. When the host encounters the lucky girl, the book will automatically record and send a reminder. Daughter of Luck? Don't have this memory? It seems that there is only Daughter of Doom in this world, right? Narent was a little puzzled. The original owner really had no information about the Daughter of Luck in his memory, but the Daughter of Doom was like thunder in this world. Since he couldn't figure it out, Narent fortunately stopped thinking about it for the time being, and looked towards the next function. Search function. You can consume a little energy point to turn on the search function, and search for the element elves that appear in the territory. You can even search for elemental elves. Narent's arms trembled. Elemental elves are precious treasures brought by meteor showers. It is a small creature composed of elements. It's a bit like the mining elves of the elves in the previous life Warcraft, but the elves in this world are smaller in size, more colors, and more cute. There are currently 4 known elves. The green elves can make the land fertile and increase the yield of crops. The purple elf can randomly improve the quality of a certain plant on the land. The yellow elf can make the land randomly contain certain minerals. The blue elf can turn the land into a favorite habitat for certain creatures. These 4 kinds of elves alone contain the necessary factors for all the territories to develop. If you use elves to buy and sell, it is also a lot of wealth. And such a precious elf is also very difficult to obtain, because the probability of it appearing in the meteor shower is extremely low, and it is extremely difficult to find after landing. If the elf is not found within 24 hours after landing and sign the contract of acknowledging the master, then it will automatically wake up and disappear into this world. Now with this search function, it means that Narent no longer has to worry about finding the elf. Tonight is the night of the meteor shower. If you can find a elf, maybe there is still a chance for Stormcaller. www.readwn.com. Every elf is worth hundreds of gold coins, and then you can go to other nobles. Soldiers are hired there. The fire of hope rose in Narent's heart. He couldn't sit still, and immediately clicked the search button with an uneasy mood. Ding! Consume a little energy point. The search function is turned on. Searching. There must be. As the only energy point was deducted, a radar-shaped round frame appeared on the system panel, and Narent looked at the radar frame and prayed silently. Ding! Congratulations to the host. I found an elemental elf in the territory. Soon, a small red dot lit up on the search radar, and the system's prompt sounded at the same time. An elemental elf actually fell on his territory tonight. Haha, it actually exists. Narent couldn't hold back his excitement and jumped up from the spot. Big Lord Butler Thomas, who had been waiting quietly, was taken aback by Narent's sudden action. I forgot that the housekeeper is still here. Sorry, Butler Thomas? The news you brought is so exciting, so I'm a little excited. Narent immediately returned to the serious and calm state that Lord should have. The villain doesn't dare. Although he wanted to complain that his adults were so slow to react, Thomas still held back the disrespectful thought. Thomas, you go to prepare the horse now. I want to go out. Yes, esteemed Lord. Thomas thought that his lord was going to check the battlefield, and he arranged it immediately after hearing the order. Soon, Thomas pulled one of the only 3 horses in the castle into the courtyard. Chapter 2, Purple Elf. As the large gate of the castle slowly opened, Narent rode out of the castle alone and quickly headed east. Originally, the act of traveling alone was not in line with the nobility, but unfortunately Narent's only guard team has been sent to Mii Village. But it just so happened that the location where the elemental elf appeared this time is not far from Mii Village, so there shouldn't be a big problem with safety. Following the radar mini-map, Narent arrived near the red dot after more than 10 minutes. They're still more than 50 meters away. The radar mini-map of the system is very magical. As Nayland approaches the target, the map will become larger and larger, which allows Nayland to know the location of the elf accurately. He tied the horse to the side of the road, held a torch in one hand, and pulled out the long sword around his waist in the other, and Narent walked directly down the dirt road. He chopped away the thorny bushes that blocked the way, and soon the front was clear, and a small open space appeared. At this time, there was a small pit half a meter in diameter in the center of the open space, and the small pit was still bubbling with heat. Found it. Narent stepped forward quickly, and saw a slightly reddish meteorite the size of 2 fists lying in the small pit. Holding the long sword, he tapped the meteorite lightly. Kaka? With a few crisp sounds, the meteorite shell shattered, revealing the little things inside, which are the most precious and magical element elf in this world. The elf exudes a faint purple light all over her body, with only a pair of small eyes and a small mouth on her round body. It turned out to be a purple elf. At this time, the elf was still sleeping, and Narent retracted his long sword and carefully picked it up. Although the elf glows, its body is not hot, but it feels warm and soft. Narent quickly took out a small porcelain bottle from his arms, poured a little powder from the porcelain bottle on his fingers, and then put it to the little guy's mouth. This is a powder made of potion tulips, which is one of the favorite foods of the element elves. When Narent put his finger on the little guy's mouth, the little guy with his eyes closed subconsciously opened his mouth and stuck out his tongue to lick it. Sure enough, you can smell delicious food before waking up. Narent couldn't help but feel happy. Smash, smash, little mouth. After tasting the smell of potion powder, the little guy didn't hesitate. He opened his mouth to the maximum to reveal 2 small incisors, and then bit Narent's fingers fiercely. Hush! Narent took a deep breath and endured the pain as he watched the potion powder mixed with blood being swallowed up by the elf. After the elf swallowed the blood, a burst of intense purple light suddenly radiated from his body the next moment, and the purple light rippled around like a wave, and then the little guy slowly opened his eyes. Migu, Migu. The moment he opened his eyes, the little guy looked at Narent with his big watery eyes, and at the same time, there was an intimate mental fluctuation in Narent's heart. This mental fluctuation is the spiritual contract between him and the elf. Although the little guy can't speak, he can convey his joys, sorrows to Narent through mental fluctuations. I'm really reluctant to sell it. Looking at the elf who has the same soul as him, Narent was reluctant to exchange it for gold coins, but how would he solve the crisis in a week without gold coins? Burn her? Burn her. Just when Narent was tangled, there were bursts of shouts from outside the woods. What's the matter? How can there be serfs making noises in the wild in the middle of the night? Narent frowned slightly, and immediately put the purple elf into his arms and returned to the dirt road. Just after returning to the dirt road, Narent saw a large group of people walking with torches more than 100 meters away. Burn her to death. It's this woman of doom who brought the dark creature tonight. If she doesn't die, she will soon bring disaster to us. Yes, burn her to death. Let the Lord burn her to death. It turned out to be the daughter of doom. Narent finally heard what was going on from the shouting. The daughter of doom is an existence that even the kings and nobles in this world, down to the commoners and serfs, are afraid to avoid. Because the daughter of doom will bring ominous and disaster to everyone around her. Usually, after the meteor shower hits the ground, there are 3 situations. The first is that there is nothing in the meteor shower, just a piece of ordinary meteorite. The second is that there are elemental elves in the meteor shower, and people make a fortune when they find them. And the third type is fatal, that is, there are terrifying dark creatures hidden in the meteor shower. And this daughter of doom doesn't know the reason. It can be said to be a summoner of dark creatures. As long as they are within 3 miles of the range, the falling meteors must have dark creatures, and many times the number of dark creatures will increase sharply, enough to threaten a territory. You can imagine how the lords felt when the daughter of doom appeared by their side, and what the commoners thought. Under such circumstances, there is an iron law in this world: the daughter of doom must die. Once the daughter of doom appears, it must be sent to the stake immediately. At this moment, the crowd in front also found Narent's figure, and the leader was Narent's captain of the guard. It's me. Nerent got on his horse and replied in a deep voice. Lord, Lord, why are you alone in the field so late? Hearing Nerent's voice, the captain of the guard, Quick, came over quickly. I heard that 2 dark creatures appeared in me village, so I came to check. What's going on? My lord, there is a daughter of doom in me village, maybe she is the one who attracted the dark creatures tonight. Captain Quick replied respectfully. Take me to see. The Lord is here. I have seen the Lord. I have seen the Lord. Quick held a torch and led Nerent towards the crowd. Following his announcement, all the serfs fell to their knees and sent greetings respectfully. Get up. Nerent ordered to the serfs. Sir, this girl is the daughter of doom found in me village. Her name is Vivian. Taking advantage of this gap, Captain Quick has brought a girl whose hands and feet were bound to Nerent's horse. This girl of doom is only 15 or 16 years old. He is thin and hungry, and he has no shoes except for a long patched linen dress. A girl of this age was a flower in a greenhouse in her previous life, and the beauty of her life has just begun, but in this world, she will be burned at the stake in a while. Quake, where did you judge that she is the daughter of doom? Nerent looked carefully for a moment before asking. After the daughter of doom is awakened, there will usually be obvious changes in her body, but a small part of the original owner's memory was lost during the soul wear, and Nerent didn't notice the difference for a while. My lord, it's her eyes. Quick didn't think about it. He answered casually, and after answering, he reprimanded the daughter of doom. Look up and show your eyes to the Lord. Daughter of doom's thin body trembled and slowly raised her head. Then, Nerent saw that there was a golden circle around the girl's brown pupils. If you put it in the previous life, at first glance, you would think that it was a fashionable girl with the effect of wearing beauty contact lenses, but here, it has become a strong evidence of the girl's identity as a daughter of doom. My lord, do you want to bring her back to me village for disposal now? Otherwise, the delay may bring bad luck to the territory. As the natives of this world, neither the serf villagers nor the captain of the guard, Quick, have any mercy on the daughter of doom. Because the daughter of doom is the source of disaster, and what Quick said to deal with was to send her to the stake to be burned to death, and to transport doom back to hell. Ding, found a lucky girl. The system map automatically includes a lucky girl. Please check the details of the host by yourself. But at this moment www.readwn.com Nerent heard a system prompt in his mind. The lucky girl? Nerent was a little surprised, and immediately opened the system to check. Dark creatures are bloodthirsty and powerful beings, and every appearance of dark creatures will bring blood and disaster. However, the Creator is fair. There is a dark side, there is a bright side, and the bright side is the powerful daughter of luck. They have all kinds of magical talents, and they are the key to restraining dark creatures. When Nerent opened the system Pokédex, he was immediately surprised by the changes in the Pokédex. The system illustrated book has become a quaint and exquisite thick book, and the first page of the book revealed unbelievable news. In order to further confirm the news, Nerent continued to look to the next page. Daughter of Luck, Vivian, Half Awakening, Specialty, Archery Special Talents, Precise Perception, Critical Strike. She is a powerful archer, and when she grows into a sharpshooter, even the Frostbone Dragon will tremble for it. She is also an excellent general. In the primary awakening state, the archer soldiers she leads can master archery skillfully in a week, and the soldiers will permanently acquire the 10% talent for accurate perception. Note, in the primary awakening state, the maximum number of people to teach each time is 10. The number of people can be increased after the level of awakening is improved. This lucky girl is still in a semi-awakened state. Her talents cannot be used, and she can be detected by dark creatures, so she can use potions to complete her primary awakening. Elementary awakening potion formula: 1 taro flower, 1 white bell grass, 2 silverthorn grass. Chapter 3, Daughter of Doom. The Daughter of Doom turned out to be an existence with a magical talent. Nerent widened his eyes in disbelief. This is just a simple identity change, but it can subvert the cognition of the entire continent. Sir, do you want to take this girl of doom to me village for disposal now? Do not. Nerent watched the thin girl frown and thought for a moment before rejecting Captain Quick's proposal. Perhaps, this girl at present is the key to his solution to the invasion of dark creatures a week later. This. Quick was stunned. Not only him, but the surrounding serfs were also stunned. Seeing everyone's expressions, Nerent understands that only himself knows the truth of the Daughter of Doom at the moment, and they certainly cannot understand it. So he changed his statement and said, "Take her back to the castle first. I'm a little tired today. I'll deal with her another day." The truth must not be told, at least not in front of so many people. After all, once it is leaked, the consequences are unpredictable. "Yes, my lord." Although it was difficult to understand, Quick, a subordinate, did not hesitate to start executing. "Wait a minute, Lord, you can't do this." However, at this moment, there was an objection from the back of the crowd. The crowd separated, and a middle-aged man in a silk dress stepped forward on a horse. The horse under him was actually a real war horse, and he instantly compared the miscellaneous horse that Nerent was riding. "Civil Administrator Anthony, I have seen Lord riding a war horse." The one who overshadowed Nerent was none other than the civil administrator of the Storm Territory. It stands to reason that Nerent, as the Lord of the Storm Territory, has the power of life and death in the territory, and no one should dare to go against his wishes. But the problem is that Nerent got the title and territory because he participated in the Count's political performance test. When he came to Stormland, except for the horse under him, Nerent was assigned by the Count, including the butler and the only guard. The guards and the butler have been given to Nerent, and they will follow him for the rest of their lives, so they are still loyal. But this civil administrator, Anthony, was different. The civil administrator only stayed in this storm for 3 years, and also had the task of monitoring the development of the territory and reporting monthly results. Therefore, this Anthony is still considered to be the count of his lord, and he also has the title of honorary knight himself. He is an honorary nobleman and is not afraid of Nerent at all. "Anthony, what's your opinion?" Nerent's voice immediately cooled down. "This guy Anthony is not a good thing. Viscount Alding deliberately sent him to disgust him. He has only arrived in the territory for 2 days, and Anthony has caused him a lot of trouble. As for Viscount Alding, he is the younger brother of the Count. Nerent was assigned to this land of doom because of Viscount Alding's good deeds. Even Viscount Alding had privately assigned 5 guards to Anthony on the grounds that the Storm Territory was too dangerous, which made Anthony even more reckless in front of him. Lord, the Daughter of Doom will bring disaster to the territory. You actually put the entire Storm Territory in crisis because of your tiredness. Don't you know that the longer the Daughter of Doom exists, the more is it dangerous?" Anthony's words hit the nail on the head, and instantly made the serfs who were full of fear of dark creatures uneasy. Although it is said that in most cases, as long as the Daughter of Doom is burned to death before the night of the meteor shower, dark creatures can be avoided, but it is not that there are no examples of dark creatures still invading after the death of the Daughter of Doom. Although it is only an example, people remember that killing the Daughter of Doom is always the sooner the better. It wasn't over yet, Anthony continued to say yin and yang strangely. "Also, Lord, you have been in the territory for more than 2 days, but you haven't even inspected the territory. Why are you tired?" "Yeah, Lord has never inspected Stormland. How can you be tired when you stay in the castle?" For a while, the serfs also boldly raised such questions in their minds. Lord Anthony, Lord fell into a coma due to exhaustion and fever on the way here. He only recovered a little at noon today. "Please clarify your identity. Who is Lord of Storm Territory?" Captain Quick stood up and immediately refuted Anthony. Although Captain Quick also expressed his helplessness about being assigned to the Land of Doom, but being able to be the captain of the guard under a lord is not a bad opportunity, so he also hopes that his lord can rise to prominence, and it is best to become a hereditary noble in the future, so that their status will rise. "Quake, you are just a small captain of the guard without a title. If you dare to be disrespectful to me next time, I will go to the Tulip City Noble Council to complain to you." Anthony looked down on Quake, who was a civilian, and turned towards him coldly. Threatened. "Enough, Anthony, this is my Storm Territory. I have the final say in everything in the territory, including you. Stand up." At this moment, perhaps feeling Nerent's anger, the purple elf who had been quietly in his arms suddenly moved, and then half of his head emerged from his collar, with those big watery eyes curiously looked around. "Ah, what is that?" "Yes, it's a elf. It's still a purple elf. It's really a elf. It's the first time I've seen an elf. It's so beautiful." The elf exuded a soft light. and it instantly became the focus in this dark night. At this time, both the serfs and the guards exclaimed in surprise. The existence of elemental elves is known to even 3- or 4-year-old children, because the lords have been hanging bounties in the territory all the year round in order to collect elf. Whoever finds an elf will be rewarded with gold coins. A gold coin in this world is worth 10,000 yuan in a previous life. It can enable a serf family to live a prosperous life. Faced with such a temptation, it is impossible to make the serfs not pay attention. How can you forget the little guy? Isn't it just a chance to bet on Anthony's mouth? Seeing everyone's surprised expressions, Naren's mind flashed. Anthony, didn't you ask me why I'm tired? That's why I'm tired. The reason? The purple elf I just found. Also, do you know what the elf represents? It means luck, and the god of glory has favored me, so I'm not worried that bad luck will come to Stormland. Naren's tone became aggressive, while Anthony was instantly speechless. Elemental elves are hard to find. It takes a lot of energy to find them. At the same time, being able to find elves does indeed mean luck. Is there nothing to say? Anthony, civil administrator, now I order you to disappear in front of me immediately, otherwise I don't mind exercising my lordship rights, even if I end up being punished by the count. Anthony's face changed uncertainly. He couldn't understand why the second son of the Baron, who was timid and cowardly before he set off, suddenly became stronger. Finally, under Naren's sharp eyes, Anthony said to the 5 guards behind him, "Let's go." Afterwards, Anthony walked away from the crowd. "Quick, let the serfs go away and take this girl back to the castle." Naren's tone softened at this time. Yes.readroom.com sir. Quick was very happy at this time. His lord got an elemental elf the day after he came to the territory. This was a very good start. Soon, under the dispersal of the guards, those serfs who saw the elf for the first time returned to me village with satisfaction. "Sir, you are back." Naren took Quick and the others back to the castle. Upon hearing the news, Thomas had long been waiting with a servant holding a copper basin. He stepped forward and pulled the reins of the horses. When Naren turned over and dismounted, Thomas quickly handed Naren a wet towel to wipe his face and hands. After enjoying the attentive service from the butler, Naren said comfortably, "Thomas, take that girl to Neaburg, let her wash and then send it to my bedroom." "Yes, my lord." Thomas glanced at Vivian, who kept her head down the whole time, and did not find her identity as the daughter of Doom, nor was he surprised that the lord had a girl washed and sent to his bedroom. This kind of thing is very common among nobles, and the nightlife of nobles is often so unpretentious and boring. "My lord, that subordinate also retire first, to arrange the vigil." Seeing that Thomas brought the daughter of Doom into the inner castle, Quick wanted to persuade him, but he finally gave up. He just looked at his lord with complicated eyes. On the way, everyone thought that their grown UPS had a fever because they were overly frightened, but now it doesn't seem to be. Go. Naren didn't realize that he had become a demon in color in the eyes of his subordinates, so he sent himself into the inner castle. Chapter 4, Vivian entering the inner fort. Naren went directly to the storage room on the first floor. The system has already given the formula for Vivian to complete the primary awakening, but fortunately, the ingredients needed for the primary awakening are very common, and they are available in the castle. If Vivian can really successfully complete the primary awakening, then there may be hope to deal with the invasion of dark creatures a week later. Taking the medicinal ingredients needed for the formula, Naren came to the empty kitchen. After a few minutes, the potion was simply cooked, and Naren returned to the bedroom after the medicinal residues were processed. The person hasn't been sent yet. Taking advantage of this gap, let me see what the system's lottery is about. The search function and the Lucky Girl guide let Naren know the power of the system, and he can't wait to see how the lottery function works. System, I want to draw a lottery. The lottery system has been opened. There is a chance to draw a lottery. Please activate the lottery button on your own. As Naren's voice fell, a large turntable immediately appeared on his retina, and there were all kinds of strange-looking fruits on the turntable. Strengthening fruit, after taking it, it can improve and strengthen the body. Agility fruit. Increase agility after taking it. Intellect fruit, after taking it, it can increase thinking ability. There is such a good thing. Naren couldn't help but widen his eyes. Dochi exists in this world, but it is a pity that the original owner was a waste of cultivation because he was born weak. He was 16 years old and could not gather dochi seeds, and the fruits in front of him might be able to change this situation. Naren clicked the start button of the lottery without hesitation. Then the lottery began, and the pointer on the big turntable began to spin rapidly. Ding! Congratulations to the host for picking up a booster fruit. It has been stored in the system panel. Please collect it yourself. Haha, good. Naren was overjoyed. He is not in a hurry to increase his agility right now. The most important thing is the fruit that can improve the body of this waste material. Only if he has a fighting spirit and is strong enough, can he survive more safely in this dangerous world. After the lottery carousel disappeared, Naren immediately took out the strengthening fruit. This is a golden fruit almost the size of a lychee. The moment he took out the system panel, Naren smelled an alluring fragrance. I hope the effect can be as good as your appearance. The scent of the golden fruit made Naren's index finger move. The next moment, he did not hesitate to stuff the enhanced fruit into his mouth. Oh, does this feel so cool? When the strengthening fruit entered his mouth, Naren's eyes widened. The moment the fruit was bitten, it turned into a warm current and slid into the abdomen, and then this warm current spread to all parts of the body, and the whole body was indescribably comfortable. The effect of this warm current lasted for more than a minute, and it disappeared from Naren after more than a minute, and the fortified fruit did not even have the peel and core. It's delicious and amazing, but I don't know what the effect will be. Naren vaguely expected the effect, so he walked to the bed and drew out his long sword. The strength has really increased, and at least it has more than doubled. Holding the long sword in one hand, Naren cried out in surprise. This long sword is a typical Western two-handed cross sword and weighs about 2 kilograms. In the past, when he held this long sword with one hand, Naren's arm would definitely tremble violently, but at this moment it didn't move at all, and the long sword in his hand seemed to have turned into a light wooden sword. Then, straight stabs, horizontal cuts, diagonal cuts. By continuously swinging his long sword in this rather spacious bedroom, Naren finally determined that the increase in strength was not an illusion. Now his strength is more than half a point stronger than that of ordinary adults. Dong dong dong. Sir, the female serf you need has been washed. At this moment, there was a knock on the door outside the bedroom. What is the female serf I need? Hearing the knock on the door, 2 black lines appeared on Naren's forehead. The housekeeper was too incapable of speaking. This was suspected of slandering his stalwart image. However, who called him the Lord of the Big Belly, and now the most important thing is to solve the Daughter of Doom. Come in. Naren quietly put away his long sword. The door slowly opened, and butler Thomas respectfully brought Vivian, who had finished washing, into the bedroom. Sir, is there anything else I can do for you? After bringing the person, Thomas was very conscious, knowing that his lord had very important things to do next, and immediately prepared to leave. It's all right, Butler Thomas, you can go to rest. Naren knew now that this Butler Thomas was really thinking about it. However, this is yellow mud falling into the crotch. It's not or shit. He can't explain it. Yes, my lord, I wish you a good night. Thomas gave a silent salute and carefully closed the bedroom door. At the moment of closing them, the eyes that looked at their adults were slightly different. My lord is only better today, but I didn't expect to come here. After Thomas left, Vivi, who had put on a maid outfit, looked a little helpless and stood where she was, not daring to move. Naren softly pointed to the sofa beside him and spoke softly. Yes, it's your lord. Vivian didn't dare to go against it. She came to the front in a flinch, but she naturally didn't dare to sit on the sofa, but knelt directly on the ground. Naren just wanted to stop it, but held back. The strict hierarchy has been deeply rooted in the hearts of everyone in this world. For a serf, in the bedroom in this castle, it is estimated that only by kneeling on her can she feel more at ease. Your name is Vivian. Naren said. Yes, yes. Lord. Vivian replied with her head lowered, in a voice like a mosquito. Are there any other relatives in your family? Also, and a younger sister. Vivian is not a native of Stormland. She was exiled here only 2 years ago. The reason is that her sister awakened and became a Daughter of Doom, and was then reported by her father for the bonus and sent to the stake. The Daughter of Doom has a certain chance of hereditary, so Vivian and her sister, who are sisters, were sent to the Storm territory, and this land of doom will be their final belonging. After answering, Vivian suddenly thought of something, and immediately continued to speak nervously. Lord, although I am the daughter of bad luck, it is none of my sister's business. She will definitely not bring bad luck. You, don't blame her. I am willing to work hard to serve the adults, and I am willing to go to the stake to eliminate bad luck. Narrant was stunned for a moment. His original intention was to let go of Vivian's nervousness first, but it seemed to be counterproductive. Why do you think I will hurt your sister? Vivian trembled when she heard the question, and finally raised her head slightly to look at Narrant. Seeing that Narrant's face was still friendly, she said carefully, Back to Lord, 3 years ago. Vivian told the reason. It turned out that there were successive invasions of dark creatures and successively took the lives of the lords. 3 years ago, the last lord to take office issued a cruel order, that is to kill all the people on the territory. The female relatives of the doomed daughter who can bring bad luck, whether awakened or not. Following this order, dozens of girls died in the storm territory at that time. Sister Vivian was exiled here a year later, so she escaped the catastrophe. But this incident also planted fear in the hearts of all the girls who followed. After listening to Narrant, he frowned. Such a cruel order was unimaginable for him as a traveler. However, the Lord 3 years ago should be Baron Doc. He has been killed by dark creatures, and he deserves it. Vivian, look up at me. Narrant knew that in order to win over this girl, it seemed that she still needed to eliminate the fear in her heart. Otherwise, because of the cruel things that Baron Doc did, I'm afraid these girls would transfer Doc's image to themselves. After all, in the eyes of serfs, all nobles are the same, and they are also nobles. Hearing Narrant's undeniable tone, Vivian slowly raised her head tremblingly. At this time, Vivian had washed up, and her face was free of plaster. With the bright candlelight in the bedroom, Narrant discovered that Vivian was actually a beautiful girl. A fair face is rare among serfs. With a delicate nose and big bright eyes, if it weren't for the fact that he was too thin, he would definitely be more beautiful than most of the noble ladies in Tulip City. Vivian, I won't send you to the stake, nor will I hurt your sister. Narrant stared at Vivian's eyes, and promised her seriously not to be sent to the stake. Confusion appeared in Vivian's eyes. If the daughter of doom didn't die, would it bring bad luck to the territory? Seeing her confusion, Narrant put his hands on her shoulders, and then gently lifted the girl and placed it on the sofa. Not only will I not burn you to death, but I am also going to accept you as the captain of the guard. Narrant said something that shocked Vivian even more. Guard. Captain of the guard. Vivian was a little stunned. Not only did she not burn her daughter of doom to death, but she still made herself the captain of the guard. Vivian felt that the Lord was either a little out of his mind or wanted to make fun of himself. Of course, Vivian felt that the latter had a higher chance. Yes, Vivian, do you believe the words of the Lord? Trust. Believe, Lord. Although there was 10,000 disbelief in her heart, but this was Lord in front of her, Vivian nodded instinctively. Very good, then drink this bowl of soup first. Narrant ignored Vivian's true beliefs, and simply picked up the brewed primary awakening potion and brought it to Vivian. Whether she believes it or not at this time, she will see tomorrow. Yes, Lord. Vivian didn't dare to refuse. She took the porcelain bowl and drank it directly. After drinking the potion, it was estimated that the potion had an effect, and Vivian quickly slept softly on the sofa. Narrant gently flattened the sofa, then covered her with a blanket. After finishing everything, Narrant also returned to his bed. Quick's previous words did not speak, and the high fever on the road for several days made him still feel mentally exhausted to this day. Chapter 5. Captain of the Guard. In the early morning of the next day, the warm sunlight fell from the window, and Vivian's eyelashes trembled slightly and was about to wake up. The sleep she slept in last night was sweeter than ever before. The incomparably soft feeling under her body, and the faint fragrance in the room was something she had never experienced before, who had only lived in a dark and humid shack. Okay. Suddenly, Vivian realized something and quickly opened her eyes. She forgot that this was the Lord's bedroom. Sitting up quickly, Vivian found herself covered with a brand new wool blanket. She quickly lifted the blanket to check her clothes. The clothes were as usual, and only then did Vivian breathe a sigh of relief. But the next moment, Vivian's eyes became darker. Again. She was the daughter of doom, and the Lord washed her clean and brought her to the bedroom, but not That means that the words Lord said last night must also be false. Vivian wasn't actually afraid of death, she was just worried about her 12-year-old sister. She remembered that after being abandoned by her cruel father, she followed her to pick wild vegetables and fruits to eat, but she never cried because of starvation. Instead, she always pretended to be sensible and laughed to make her happy sister. Little sister, it's my sister who is sorry for you. You must live well. Vivian prayed silently in her heart, if the gods hate her, then let all the bad luck befall her, please let her sister be lucky to live. You're awake. Just when Vivian didn't know if she should walk out of the bedroom directly, and was still waiting in place, a soft voice came from the door of the bedroom. It was the handsome and kind Lord. Lord. Vivian hurriedly got off the sofa and knelt barefoot on the ground. Get up. Nerent commanded softly, and continued, Vivian, look who's here. Elder sister. Just when Vivian was puzzled, a very familiar voice suddenly came from the door. Lilia. Looking up, a girl in a brand new maid outfit was standing at the entrance of the bedroom. It was her sister Lilia. Vivian instantly showed a surprised expression. She thought she would never see her sister again. Sister, the Lord told me to come to the castle to be a maid in the future? Tell me a salary of 10 copper coins a day. What? Make you a maid? Vivian couldn't believe what she said. The castle maid is a very noble profession. How could the relatives of the daughter of Doom become castle maids? Vivian couldn't help looking at Nerent. Nerent nodded with a smile. In the future, you will be the captain of my guards, and your sister will be the maid of the castle. If you want to come here, you can work for me more at ease. Vivian, are you willing? I will. Thank you, Lord. Vivian's eyes were slightly red, and she finally knew that what Lord said last night was true. But Lord, I don't know how to fight. Not to mention the captain of the guards, he is an ordinary guard, and he needs a strong and powerful figure. Vivian has no idea. Ding! System side quest, help the lucky girl Vivian to understand her abilities. System. Reward, information about the second elf. Huh? Is there such an operation? The system actually issued the task again. However, this side quest was considered a gift for Nerent. After all, he wanted Vivian to show her abilities. But I didn't expect to get information about the second elf, which made Nerent overjoyed. Vivian, you don't have to worry about this. You'll know what you are capable of in a while. Let's go. The servants in the castle are already having dinner. You go and eat, and I will officially appoint you as the captain of the guard after eating. Yes, Lord. Vivian replied nervously. Then Nerent took Wei and the two to the first floor and handed it over to butler Thomas. In this world, commoners cannot sit on the long table of nobles in the castle restaurant. Otherwise they will be hanged for contempt of nobles, and nobles must also keep this rule in mind. Sitting alone on the 6-meter-long table, Nerent ate what was considered the most hearty breakfast in the Storm territory, a piece of white bread and a piece of roasted bacon. Captain Quick came to the restaurant. Is it done? Nerent looked at Quick, took the white towel handed over by the servant, and wiped his hands before speaking slowly. Yes, my lord, you have brought all the 10 young serfs you need. 4 of them have been hunters, and the others are the strongest young men in the territory. Very good. Nerent nodded. These 10 young serfs were the candidates for Nerent to form the second guard team. The plan to form the second guard team was on the first day he came to the territory, and Nerent ordered Quick to do it, in order to suppress Anthony. After all, Anthony also had 5 guards, so he needed to form another team of 20 to effectively suppress Anthony. After speaking, Nerent picked up an exquisite mask on the side of the long table and left the restaurant. Coming to the front courtyard of the castle, Vivian had already finished her breakfast and was watching Thomas teach Lilia how to become a qualified maid. Lord. When Vivian, who originally had a faint smile on her lips, saw Nerent coming out, she immediately restrained her smile and knelt on the ground respectfully. Get up, Vivian. Put on this mask. In the future, except in the castle, when you go outside the castle, wear this mask. This mask was found in the warehouse in the castle, and was used by those nobles when they held a dance. This castle has experienced 4 barons and nobles, and they all fell into the sand here, but left behind a lot of trivial objects. No one has any idea about these less valuable things. After all, everyone is worried that the objects in the castle will also be contaminated with bad luck. In the end, it happened to be cheaper for Nerent. Yes, Lord. Vivian also knew that if she walked out of the castle, she would definitely scare everyone who knew her. After taking the mask, she put it on her face obediently. Hey, no wonder nobles like this tune. When Vivian put the mask on, Nerent was surprised. The mask is very delicate, it only covers around the eyes, and is made of hollowed-out copper sheets. The hollow pattern of the mask is beautiful. Not only will it not be stuffy, but it looks luxurious and unusual. With the fair skin of Vivian's serfs, there is a little wildness in the graceful and graceful www.readwn.com. This is an image that walks between temptation and modesty, playing with a heartbeat. I have seen the Lord. Outside the castle, 10 young men aged 18 or 19 in ragged clothes knelt on the ground and raised their voices in greeting. The uncontrollable joy could be seen on their faces. The Lord's direct guards can be said to be the most beautiful profession in the territory. Not only are they highly rewarded and have high status, they can also follow the Lord. Being selected by Quick is as lucky for them as winning the lottery jackpot in a previous life. Do you all know what you are going to do? Got it? Lord. Lord. Very good. Then I announce that from now on you will officially become my subordinates of Nerent Barrack, the guards of the Storm Lord. Thank you, Lord. Lord. This subordinate swears allegiance to Lord. Lord. Hearing Nerent's words, all the young people instantly became excited and used all their strength to swear their allegiance. From the moment they swear allegiance to Nerent, it means that they have the qualification to break away from serf status. If they are lucky enough, have enough military exploits, and have enough ability, then they will have the opportunity to become civilians and even be rewarded with a piece of farmland. Although it may not be possible for a few out of 100 people to be able to do this, at least they already have hope, which is why the guards under the minor nobles are so loyal. Very good, then let's meet your captain next time. Vivian, come here. Wow. When Nerent's words fell, everyone at the gate of the castle was in an uproar. Not to mention the young serfs, even the guards like Quick looked like they had seen a ghost. Chapter 6, Title Knight. My lord? You accept Vivian as the captain of the guard? Isn't that appropriate? This time, Quick didn't hesitate. What a joke. If the adults just want to use the Daughter of Doom volleyball to relieve the distress, it's okay to say, but to make the Daughter of Doom become the captain of the guards, this is simply absurd. For the safety of the territory and his family, Quick felt that it was necessary for him, the captain of the guards, to remind him. What's wrong? My lord, Wayan is a Daughter of Doom, and her ability. Quick replied under pressure. Quake, I had a dream the day before yesterday. The God of Glory in the dream told me that the Daughter of Doom will not bring bad luck, but will bring me luck. Okay, that is to explain all this with theology. After all, in the backward world, theology can be regarded as the truth. This. Quick and the others looked at each other. Maybe you think a dream proves nothing. But I tell you, apart from the Daughter of Doom, the purple elf I found last night was also a revelation to me by the God of Glory in my dream. So, it turns out that the God of Glory has favored me, Nerent Barrack. As a Lord Knight, this is my honor, and I will abide by the will of the God of Glory. Now, you understand? No. Understood, your lord. Although they are still full of doubts, the God of Glory is involved, and there is evidence of the purple elf. In this world, the care of the God of Glory is like the auspiciousness of the previous life. You don't have to believe in the auspiciousness, but if you directly tell the Emperor that the auspiciousness is false, then you will definitely be done. Very good, now that you understand, let's meet your new captain soon. Nerent nodded in satisfaction. He doesn't need Quake and others to completely believe it, he just needs to guide a little so that everyone will not have fierce resistance, and then he can use the deterrence of Lord to forcibly suppress dissent. After all, this is a world where the Lord holds all authority. I've seen Captain Vivian. The 10 serf recruits had no right to speak, and when they heard the order, they no longer hesitated, and immediately greeted Vivian. Hello. Facing the greetings from the 10 young people, Vivian was rather at a loss. She hurriedly greeted everyone, and then looked at Nerent eagerly. Didn't you guys just question why Wayan is qualified to be the captain of the guard? Then I'll let her prove it to you now. Nerent stepped forward and took a longbow from the guard beside Quick. Handed it to Vivian. Vivian, shoot an arrow and show them. Just target the wild fruit on that tree. Nerent pointed to a fruit tree not far from the castle, because it has been left unattended for a long time. Many small trees have grown outside the castle. One of the fruit trees more than 2 meters high has more than 10 bright red wild fruits hanging on it. Yes, my lord, but my lord, I can't shoot arrows. Vivian took the longbow subconsciously, but then realized that she didn't know how to shoot arrows. Seeing this scene, several of Quick's guards showed strange expressions on their faces. They didn't know what happened to Lord today, and such a ridiculous thing happened. No, Vivian, you can shoot arrows. This is the ability bestowed upon you by the God of Glory, but you are not familiar with it yet. Now I will teach you how to use it. And behind him, and then pressed against her back, holding her left and right hands. First hold the longbow with your left hand. Hold the end of the arrow with your right hand, then raise the longbow to face the target, open the bow to aim, shoot. Poof! Under the guidance of Narrant, Vivian finally completed the first shooting in her life. However, the results were not ideal and even embarrassing. The arrow slowly bounced out of the longbow, but after flying crookedly for a few meters, it fell to the ground, with no strength at all. Seeing this scene, Quick and the others couldn't help lowering their heads and blushing. They were very worried that they would laugh and then be hung up by the Lord and whipped. How is it? Do you feel it? However, what everyone didn't know was that Vivian, who originally knew nothing about archery, had changed at this time. At the moment when the arrow was fired, a strange feeling suddenly rose in Vivian's heart. This feeling came from nowhere, but Vivian suddenly felt a touch of intimacy with the longbow in her opponent. I feel it, Lord. Vivian nodded forcefully. Very good. Then it's up to you. Narrant nodded with a smile. Although this is disrespectful to your lord, if Vivian can shoot, I will eat that longbow. Captain Quick laughed silently in his heart. Looking at the fruit trees more than 50 meters away, even the captain of the guards could not guarantee that a fist-sized wild fruit could be shot at such a distance. Inhale, exhale, inhale, hold. Vivian slowly caught up with a new arrow, then raised her longbow to aim at the target. She didn't even notice that her breathing rhythm changed with the aiming of the longbow, achieving the best breathing rhythm that only experienced archers can form. It's now. After holding her breath, the golden pattern in Vivian's eyes suddenly lit up with a gleam of light. At this moment, Vivian clearly caught the moment to release the arrow. Whoosh! With a scream, the arrow shot out quickly. How is this possible? Quick, who felt that it was a farce just a moment ago, widened his eyes. The whistling sound of the arrow represents the speed of leaving the string. Don't underestimate this point. It can only be produced by skilled shooters. If you are not skilled enough, even just because of a small shake of the wrist, the force of the arrow will be weakened, or it will not be able to shoot at all. Poof! It was hit. What shocked Quake even more was still behind www.readwn.com. The arrow hit a fruit more than 50 meters away at a very fast speed under everyone's attention, and after piercing the fruit he still managed to shoot on the muddy ground 4 or 5 meters away. Whoosh! At this moment, there was a second scream in the field. It turned out that Vivian shot the second arrow involuntarily, and after the second arrow was shot, the expressions of everyone in the field changed greatly. God is above. This must not be true. Because the second arrow shot, there was a faint red light flashing. Boom! As the arrow accurately hit the fruit in the distance, the fruit burst open in an instant and turned into powder. This is vindictiveness? The daughter of Doom turned out to be a title knight. Quick's voice trembled as he looked at his lord in disbelief. As expected, she deserves to be a lucky girl. Her talent is no worse than vindictiveness. Amidst all the astonishment, only Narrant could remain calm. Of course, Vivian doesn't have a grudge right now. The reason why she can cause such damage is just relying on her magical talent. However, in the face of the doubts of Quick and others, Narrant did not explain it, so let them mistake Vivian for a title knight. In this world, possessing dochi is an extraordinary existence. Whether it is a commoner or a serf, as long as he possesses dochi, he will be recruited by the nobles and become a superior. Therefore, people who have fighting spirit are used to calling them titled knights. Bronze Knight, Silver Knight, and Golden Knight are the strength divisions of fighting chi level. According to Narrant's calculations, although the awakened Vivian has no grudge, her strength is already close to the level of a junior Bronze Knight. Chapter 7, True Surrender. My lord. I'm sorry, I just fired the second arrow subconsciously. Vivian had withdrawn from the mysterious feeling. Seeing Quick and others all looked at her with strange expressions, She felt a little uncomfortable. After all, she was a helpless serf girl yesterday, and even if she had extraordinary power at this time, Vivian was a little overwhelmed. You did a good job, Vivian. Now you know why I appointed you as captain of the guard. Nerent encouraged Vivian softly. My lord, I understand. Vivian nodded and replied in a low voice. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the side quest, the quest reward information. An elf will fall in the next meteor shower. At this time, a system prompt sounded in Nerent's mind. There's actually another elf coming. Nerent was overjoyed, knowing that in other baronies, 1 or 2 a year is lucky, but here he has elf for 2 weeks in a row, which is simply a lucky place. What? Suppressing his excitement, Nerent looked around. What about you? Lord? We also know. Not to mention Vivian's precise shooting skills, which is her status as a knight. Everyone dared not have any doubts, including Quick, who had just woken up from the shock at this time. Immediately took 2.5 steps forward and knelt in front of Nerent. Sir, Quick is wrong? Please punish. Title Knight? Don't look at Vivian's weak appearance now. If she knows how to fight, Quick will know that even the 5 of them are not Vivian's opponents. At the same time, the daughter of Doom possessed a fighting spirit, which made Quick believe what his lord had said earlier. Maybe this was really the revelation of the God of Glory. Otherwise how could such a thing happen? Quick, I'm not a foolish lord, and I won't punish you for your loyalty and sense of responsibility. Get up. Nerent nodded in satisfaction. Lord Xie, swear allegiance to the Lord. At this moment, Quick was moved, and he truly recognized himself, the Lord, from his heart. Although he was loyal a few days ago, it was more of a mechanized, imperative obedience. Now, his Lord not only showed his wisdom and tolerance, but also received the care of the God of Glory. As a subordinate, how could he not be wholehearted if he could follow such a Lord? I swear allegiance to your Lord. Not only Quick, but also the 10 other guards who were also assigned by the Count also truly recognized him as a lord like Quick. Very good. Get up. From now on, as long as you do your best, one day you will be honored for this decision. Nerent is very satisfied. Today not only has Vivian's problem been resolved, but also the real captured these guards. Yes, my lord. Quick and the others responded excitedly with bright eyes. As the saying goes, if one person succeeds, Nerent will become a hereditary baron or even a viscount, and he will have the right to vassalize, and they will have the opportunity to earn military merit and become a small noble lord. Very well, but today's events are not yet known to the outside world, so all of you must strictly control your words and not reveal a single word, understand? In the next moment, Nerent's expression became serious. Stand up. Follow your orders, Lord. Very good. Quick, now distribute the longbow to these new guards. Nerent commanded, then looked at Vivian. Vivian, as the captain, they will teach you the next training. After speaking, afraid that Vivian wouldn't know how to teach, Nerent added, you just need to take them to practice shooting constantly, and make sure no one is lazy. Nerent now only needs to let the 10 serfs of the second team learn archery to deal with the invasion of dark creatures a week later. As for other tactical skills, we can only talk about it after the crisis is over. At that time, Nerent still has a lot of training skills from previous military training and online in his mind. Quick, have you finished the inventory of the castle's arsenal? Riding a horse on the dirt road in Stormwind territory, Nerent asked Quick. Sir, the inventory has been completed. There are 5 long swords that can be used in the castle, and 12 long bows that can be put together. According to your order, 11 long bows have been distributed to the second guard team, but only arrows. There are only more than 50 arrows that can be used directly, and the other 200 arrows need to be purchased with intact arrow shafts. More than 100 sticks, a little bit. Like the prom mask, there are still a lot of weapons left in the castle, but most of these weapons are the products that were eliminated or damaged in the first place, and they are rarely used. UU reading www.uukangshu.com. Longsword Nerent is not in a hurry. What he lacks now is arrows, whether it is for practice or to deal with dark creatures. Obviously, 5 arrows per person are not enough to deal with a tough battle. It seems that I can only go to the neighboring territory to purchase. Have pity on my 10 gold coins? I don't know how many days it will last. Little guy, I hope you can give me more strength and surprise me. Nerent suppressed the bitterness in his heart and focused on the purple elf in his hand. With Vivian's appearance, Nerent is not going to sell the purple elf. After all, this thing is extremely precious, and no nobles will sell it for money unless it is a last resort. The role of the purple elf is to improve the quality of crops on a certain piece of land. If you are lucky enough to improve a type of fruit plant, it is the potion fruit. This is a fruit that can increase the physique of the title knight, and it is very popular. Even if it was close, it would be very good to improve a plant that suits the taste of the elf. The tulip family became rich because they owned the tulip potion flower. Of course, what kind of magical plants can be obtained depends on luck, and the elves need to choose by themselves. If you are very unlucky and get some potion plants that are of little value, it is not impossible. Hey, there is a reaction. At this moment, Nerent suddenly felt cheerful mental fluctuations from the elf, which indicated that the little guy had found a plant he liked. Go, little guy. Nerent immediately threw the elf forward. After the elf was thrown, it hovered at a height of more than 10 centimeters on the ground and started to move. I'll keep up. Nerent kicked the horse's belly and directly increased the speed of the horse. Chapter 8, Swordwood Forest. This is the Swordwood Forest, could it be? Zuma stopped in front of a forest outside Mi village, and Nerent's face was full of joy. The Jianmu tree is straight and smooth like a bamboo pole. It can grow to 7 or 8 meters in height when it is an adult. The maximum thickness of the stem is no more than 7 centimeters. The limitations are generally used to make scabbards, which is also the origin of the name of Jianmu. But nothing is absolute. In one case, sword wood will become a rare and precious wood, that is, after being improved by the elves. Because as long as the quality is improved by the elf, the material of the sword wood will become very hard and tough, and even if it is slashed with an iron weapon, it will be difficult to cut it off at once. At this time, sword wood can be directly used as a spear or spear without processing, and with its lightweight feel, it is simply a natural weapon. Even the immature little sword wood can be used as a high-quality arrow shaft, and its value is not inferior to those of the potion fruit. When Nerent was overjoyed, the purple light on the elf gradually became dazzling, and then rippled around like ripples. When the purple light rippling in the air swept across the sword trees immediately absorbed the purple light, and then the surface of the bark became smooth and shiny. Haha, that's true. I've made a fortune. Nerent laughed. Big. Sir, it turned out to be Jianmushu. Quick and the others were on foot, but only now they ran to the edge of the forest. When they saw that it was Jianmulan, they couldn't help widening their eyes and exclaiming in surprise. Congratulations, sir, the god of glory has favored you. Quick didn't know how to express his admiration for Lord, and he was so lucky. Although Jianmu is widely distributed in the principality, very few can be selected by the purple elves as potion plants, and only the count has a piece of the entire county. Each of the potion sword trees is worth 1 silver coin. Under normal circumstances, the elf can have an effect on the plants within an acre of land, and there are at least 300 or 400 sword trees within this acre of land. This is equivalent to 300 or 400 silver coins. When Nerent was talking to Quick, the purple elf had already restrained the purple light on his body. It drilled into the forest and selected the thickest and tallest sword tree, and then swirled around the sword tree. Seeing this, Nerent came to a sword tree that was only about the size of a little finger, and pulled out the long sword from his waist. Ding! With the sound of a metal clash, the small sword tree was cut off by Nerent, but it also left a shallow gravure on the sharp long sword. Such hardness and toughness can still be called wood. It really is a fantasy world. Nerent marveled in his heart. Quick, send 2 guards to guard the swordwood forest in the future. And we must ensure the safety of the swordwood elves. After confirming that the quality of the swordwood was correct, Nerent began to order. Under normal circumstances, beasts and monsters would not attack elves, but Nerent still needed to guard against dark creatures and humans, especially with Anthony in the territory. By the way, didn't you say that there are still more than 200 arrows in the castle? You have activated the guards these days, and made arrows out of these little sword trees at night. Yes, my lord. With arrows and wooden poles, arrows don't require any skills, and guards like Quick are fully capable. After the explanation was finished, and after leaving 2 guards behind, Nerent returned directly to the castle. In the future, the elf will coexist with the sword wood here, and under normal circumstances, Nerent will not take it away. Because the elf and the symbiotic plant are together, not only can they continue to improve the newly grown sword tree, but they also have a certain chance of metamorphosis and evolution. There are 3 states of the element elf, namely the elf, the big elf and the angel elf. A elf generally has a lifespan of 10 years and can affect crops within an acre of land. But if luck transforms into a big elf, its lifespan can reach 100 years, and its scope of action can be increased to 10 acres of land. If it can transform and evolve into an angel spirit, its lifespan can reach 300 or 400 years, and its scope of action can be expanded to 100 acres. It can be said that although elves are precious, the benefits they can bring to the territory are short-term. And the great elves and angel elves are the foundation of a noble family, such as the sword and wood elves. As long as it can successfully transform, even if it is only a great elves, it is enough to ensure that Nerent will have a steady stream of income for 100 years. Of course, the transformation of the elf depends on luck, and it is no exaggeration to say that it is 1 in 100. Although feeding the elf with potion powder every day can increase the probability to a certain extent, it is also a large expenditure. Lottery-like properties. Back at the castle, Nerent came to the back garden, where he was about to start practicing vindictiveness. In the past, the original owner was restricted from being able to become a title knight for a long time, and the reason why he was named as a training waste was because his body was naturally weak. But because of the strengthening fruit, his current system is already a bit stronger than that of ordinary adult men. Flame Dochi Art. Nerent slowly took out a book from his arms. Although this Dochi art has only a few pages, it is worth at least 300 gold coins, which is equivalent to more than 3 million in the previous life. It is the secret of his Barak family. After opening the Dochi-ju and reviewing the contents, Nerent began to meditate and practice according to the Dochi-ju instructions. www.readwn.com. There are 2 elements in the cultivation of Dochi. The second is to meditate to absorb the elements of fighting chi between heaven and earth, guide the fighting chi into the body, and finally form the seed of fighting chi in the body. As long as the seed of vindictiveness is formed, it becomes a true title knight. Relaxing and closing his eyes, Nerent opened his perception and quickly fell into a strange situation. In his perception, the surrounding is not pitch black, but there are many light spots of different colors. These are the reasons why this fantasy world can have a grudge. Nerent directs his attention to the red dots of light in all the elements. These red light spots are fire attribute fighting chi, and Nerent needs to guide them into the body, and then accumulate fire attribute fighting chi in the body to a certain extent, and the seed of fighting chi will be formed in the body. After crossing over, Nerent has tried many times in the past few days, but it becomes difficult whenever he wants to draw fire attribute fighting chi into his body, because the narrow chi veins in his body are not enough to hold too much fighting chi, so he cannot, to the point of forming a seed of fighting spirit. Chi meridians are like balloons. When the balloon is very small, a little bit of vindictiveness can block the meridians. If we continue to forcibly block them, not only will the pain be unbearable, but it may even be life-threatening if the meridians are ruptured. But now Nerent's chi pulse is twice as wide as before. Such a wide chi pulse is enough to allow him to form a Dochi seed. Everything is ready, I only owe Dongfang. Nerent showed an excited look. Now, he only needs to continuously absorb the fire attribute fighting chi between heaven and earth into his body, accumulate the seeds that can form fighting chi, and then he can directly become a title knight. Chapter 9, Do You Mean Grudge? Because of the big crisis of the invasion of dark creatures, Nerent basically stayed in the castle for the next few days to train and prepare for battle. As for people's livelihood issues such as patrolling the territory, they can only be considered after solving this life and death crisis. In a flash, it was a week later. The castle restaurant with more than 80 square meters is rectangular in shape and looks empty and quiet. The only disadvantage is that the current restaurant does not have enough decorations, only an old copper chandelier hangs overhead, which obviously cannot highlight the wealth of the lord. Nerent sat alone at the long table with a knife and fork at this time, enjoying dinner. My lord, Captain Vivian reports that the small holes you ordered to dig have been completed, and Captain Quick has invited Lord Anthony. Butler Thomas walked quickly into the dining room. Well, it should be almost time. Nerent nodded after hearing this. Boom boom boom. But at this time, there were a few explosions in the sky, accompanied by bright lights that appeared from time to time. It's starting, Nerent murmured, putting down the knife and fork in his hand. The biggest crisis of the storm region will finally appear with tonight's meteor shower. Thomas, remember, without my order, don't open the castle gate later. Nerent stood up and warned Thomas again. Yes, my lord. After receiving a response, Nerent walked out of the restaurant holding the long sword around his waist. Tonight's Nerent is fully armed, not only wearing chainmail and leather armor, but also a small round shield and helmet on his left wrist and head. Coupled with the long sword on his waist, this standard uniform weighs at least 20 pounds. In the past, if Nerent wore this set of equipment, he would definitely feel difficult, but at this time he walked steadily and easily. Because just last night, Nerent finally gathered enough fire attribute fighting chi, planted a fighting chi seed in his body, and became a powerful and extraordinary title knight. I've seen adults. When Nerent came outside the castle, Quick and Vivian had been waiting for a long time with the guards. Everyone was a little surprised when they saw Nerent's fully armed appearance. And Anthony was even more uneasy when he saw Nerent like this. If he hadn't been outside the castle at the moment, he would have promised to ride his horse and leave. Lord, do you know why you came to me so late? Anthony asked carefully. Anthony, tonight is the night of shooting stars. I just invite you to come to the castle to enjoy the shooting stars. Nerent replied with a smile. Hearing this, Anthony's face darkened, thinking that Nerent was amusing him. Sorry Lord, as a civil administrator, my affairs are quite busy. Since Lord has nothing to do with me, my subordinates will leave first. With that said, Anthony was about to leave. Not good, my lord, a large meteor shower is falling towards us. At this moment, someone among the guards suddenly shouted. Afterwards, everyone looked at the sky in horror. Although I saw a meteor shower before, this is a scene that occurs every week. Although everyone is nervous, they can keep calm. But now it's different. There are actually 20 or 30 meteors falling towards them in the meteor shower. It's over? It's over. The guards were pale, and their arms and legs couldn't help shaking. The only one who could remain calm in the field was Nerent alone, because he knew exactly how many creatures would invade tonight, and even the landing site was less than 200 meters away from the castle. Is this the land of doom? We have only been here for more than a week before we encountered such a large wave of dark creatures. Anthony looked at the large group of meteor showers falling in the sky, and was also shivering. How did the previous lords die? He also knew. My lord, it's dangerous here, go back to the castle. Quick and others responded and prepared to surround Nerent and return to the castle. No, Quick. The experience of 4 lords has told us that hiding in this dilapidated castle to deal with dark creatures will not survive. So, with that, Nerent's eyes swept across everyone's face after that. He pulled out the long sword from his waist with a clanging sound. So, our only chance tonight is to kill all the dark creatures before their strength has fully recovered when they land. After the dark creatures landed, I don't know whether it was because of the impact when they landed, or other factors. Basically, there would be a 5-minute period of weakness. At this time, the strength of the dark creatures will be cut in half, so Nerent wants to destroy the dark creatures tonight, and there is only one chance. Boom boom boom. At the moment when Nerent raised his long sword, the meteor shower finally smashed to the ground one after another, and the loud rumbling continued to make everyone's heart tremble. Crazy? Nerent, you are crazy? With 10 guards plus 10 serfs who don't even have leather armor. Anthony looked at Nerent like a fool. Anthony, I don't care what purpose you came to Stormwind, but in order to survive, I hope you can obey my orders. You cannot participate in the battle, but I will temporarily requisition your 5 guards. Nerent finally said the reason why I let Anthony come. Although Anthony is not a thing, his 5 guards are from the Count's guards, not only well-trained, but also fully equipped with weapons and leather armor. Impossible, I won't accompany you on this madman's adventure. 20 or 30 dark creatures, even a real baron may not be able to resist, just rely on you, a jazz lord who has no fighting spirit? And Nerent, there are only 20 subordinates including the serfs, this is simply courting death. With that, Anthony was about to get on his horse. Anthony, do you think you can run away now? Look ahead, the road has been blocked by dark creatures. Nerent already knew that this guy would not give in so easily, so he invited him to the castle gate in advance. Sure enough, when Anthony looked out of the castle, the crater that had just landed had completely blocked the way out. The castle of Nerent was not built on flat ground, but on a separate hill. The nobles who built this castle originally dug up all the earth and stone around the hill, leaving only a gentle more than 10 meters wide in front of the castle as a passage. In this way, even if there is no moat, the steep cliffs around the castle with a drop of more than 30 meters make it impossible for the enemy to attack from all sides. In the same way, if Nerent and the others wanted to leave the castle, they could only descend from the gentle of 40 or 50 meters in front of them. The dark creatures had begun to slowly climb out of the crater. If Anthony ran over, he might be surrounded by dark creatures. In Nerent's mind, Anthony should be honest under such circumstances. However, Nerent still underestimated Anthony's fear of death, or underestimated Anthony's bottom line as a human being. Seeing that there was no hope of escaping, Anthony made a plan and reached Nerent's guard. You people, do you really want to court death with this lunatic? Nerent. Let me tell you, dark creatures are extremely terrifying, let alone take the initiative to attack. Even if they are defended in the castle, the gate that has never been repaired can't resist the attack of dark creatures. This dilapidated castle has already been broken 4 times. So, now is the only chance for those who want to survive. Everyone escapes with me, and rushes out. Together. Anthony is preparing to encourage Nerent's guards to escape together. Only when everyone rushes into the dark creatures can he rely on his own body. The horses below escaped safely. Anthony, you are courting death. Nerent was shocked by Anthony's shamelessness. Seeing that time was running out, Nerent was obviously impatient. Isn't it? You think about why there are so many dark creatures attacking. Is it because your lord did not kill the woman of doom? Anthony was not afraid of the threat of Nerent. Hiding in the he continued to speak encouraging words behind his 5 guards. Anthony, I'll ask you one last time, do you listen to the order? Nerent was really angry, and if he continued to talk nonsense, it would hurt his own affairs. Nerent, don't think about it. The 5 of you protect me, and you escape with me. If you don't escape, it will be too late. Don't die with such a waste, lord. If there is no decree from the earl this time, he is just a poor second son of the baron, even a grudge. If you want to court death, then I will fulfill you. Nerent didn't say more. The next moment, the red aura all over his body suddenly appeared and rammed directly towards the 5 guards in front of Anthony. The vindictive Nerent was no longer something the 5 guards could resist. In an instant, several people were knocked into pieces, and Nerent's figure came directly to Anthony. You, how could you? Poof! He didn't give Anthony any chance to reflect. In his horrified eyes, the long sword pierced directly into his chest. Are you talking about vindictiveness? Sorry, I'm already a title knight. Chapter 10, Nomination Certificate. Quiet? When Nerent's long sword was inserted into Anthony's body, there was a brief silence in the arena. Only Anthony's mouth kept spilling blood, and he gasped like a worn-out bellows. In addition to shocking Nerent to kill Anthony, everyone was surprised that he had become a title knight. Protect your excellency. After a while, Quick and the others drew their long swords and came to Nerent's side, while Vivian pointed the long bow at Anthony's 5 guards. Although these 5 guards are not Nerent's opponents together now, Quick and others have reported that Nerent is very satisfied, and even Vivian's performance at this time is also very good. He waved his hand to indicate that Quick and the others should not be nervous, and Nerent turned to look at the 5 guards. Now give you a chance to choose, die, or be loyal to me in the future. At such a critical juncture, Nerent doesn't have much time to waste. He needs to solve this matter quickly. My lord, it's not right. Anthony is a noble after all, if you stay alive. Quick reminded him immediately after hearing this. In this world, nobles can kill commoners and serfs, but they can never kill nobles. Because killing a noble for no reason is a serious crime. Even if the noble is guilty, only the noble council is qualified to judge. Now that Nerent killed Anthony, if he was found out by the noble council, his title would be cut off, or his life would be worth his life. Quick, I know. Nerent motioned to Quick not to speak. He naturally knows the consequences of killing the nobles, but now is an extraordinary period. Keeping these 5 guards, tonight will have a greater chance of winning against the dark creatures. We are willing to swear allegiance to you, Lord Narrant. The 5 Anthony's guards were already frightened at this time. Facing the choice given by Narrant, several of them looked at each other and knelt, without hesitation, on the ground. They were only sent by Aldine to protect Anthony, and they did not swear allegiance to Anthony, so they would not have any resentment against Narrant when Anthony died. What's more, under the current circumstances, if they dare to say no, it will only become a corpse. Very good, now everyone stabs Anthony with a sword. I will accept your allegiance, and I will find a way to take your family from Tulip City. Thank you, sir. Several guards stood up after hearing the words and looked at Anthony, who was dying on the ground. N.A. Narrant, you are dead today. Even if you don't die, Aldine will pay for me. Anthony's eyes were full of bloodshot eyes, and he looked at Narrant with malicious eyes. Not yet. Puff puff. When several guards heard the urging, their hearts sank, and at the same time they stabbed Anthony with a sword. Anthony finally exhausted the last ounce of strength, and his whole body fell into a pool of blood. It wasn't until Anthony died that Narrant looked back. Originally, Narrant didn't plan to kill him. After all, the consequences of doing so were unpredictable, but this guy was seeking his own death, and he really couldn't blame him. The guard team listens to orders. Putting his mind away, Narrant looked at the dark creatures that were slowly surrounding him. The biggest crisis of the night had not yet been resolved. Yes, my lord. The swordsman is in the front, the longbowman is in the back, and everyone moves forward. Following Narrant's order, the guards lined up in 2 columns and began to walk slowly down the gentle slope. The 5 guards who had just sworn allegiance to Narrant also joined the team, standing beside Quick and others. Soon, the guard team came to the bottom of the gentle slope, and the dark creatures had already surrounded them. It should be too late. Narrant silently counted the time in his heart. Vivian, the archer is free to aim. Prepare for 10 breaths. Seeing those skeleton soldiers with strange green soul fires in their eye sockets approaching, Narrant began to order. Second squad, prepare your bows and arrows. When Vivian heard the words, she immediately conveyed the order to the guards, and then 11 longbowmen held their bows to aim and wait. Shoot. When the first skeleton soldier approached a distance of 30 meters, Narrant gave an order. Buzzing, whoosh whoosh, with the pulsating sound of the bowstring, the 11 arrows turned into a black beam and shot out at the same time. Boom! The first thing to do was Vivian's arrow. With the talent of a fatal blow, the head of the skeleton soldier that was shot was immediately blown into powder. Tuck tuck tuck. As for the other longbowmen, only one of them actually shot the skeleton soldiers to death. Of course, it wasn't that they didn't hit the skeleton soldiers, but everyone's arrows shot on the skeleton soldiers accurately. It's just that dark creatures like skeleton soldiers, as long as they don't get shot in the head and hurt their soul fire, even if they lack arms and legs, they can't really destroy them. The longbowmen are free to shoot. The swordsman team draws their long swords. The longbowmen had already started, so the swordsman guards naturally couldn't watch, and Narrant immediately ordered Quake and the others. Clang clang! The guards pulled out the long swords around their waists one after another, and then protected their left wrist with a small round shield in front of them, ready to charge at any time. Follow me, give priority to the archers who attack the skeleton soldiers. For glory, kill. For glory, kill. The next moment, a total of 16 swordsmen rushed towards the group of skeletons under the leadership of Narrant. Boom! Whoops! Narrant took the lead and rushed to the group of skeletons. He directly swung the small round shield on his left hand and smashed it down against a skeleton soldier. The skull soldier's head shattered in response, and then all the bones in his body fell to the ground as if they had lost the restraint of a rope, becoming a pile of broken bones. Your Majesty, kill. Seeing Narrant taking the lead and taking down a skeleton soldier with ease, the morale of the guards who were still a little scared was shocked, and they collided with the skeleton soldier after a loud shout. Read WN.com. Don't think it's easy to use a shield to smash the bones of the skeleton soldiers. After the death energy is strengthened, the bones of the skeleton soldiers are much harder than ordinary people. Without enough explosive power, it is difficult for ordinary people to achieve nail-on a hit. And on weekdays, it basically takes 2 well-trained guards to deal with a skeleton soldier. This is extraordinary power. If I was in my previous life, I should be able to wear my underwear backwards. Narrant enjoyed the unprecedented power brought to him by Grudge. Roar. Ah, it's Hellhound. Boom! Just when Nerent was smug, a loud roar suddenly came from his left side, accompanied by two muffled sounds. Cerberus. Nerent was startled and followed the voice. The one who roared was one of the most difficult. Dark creatures tonight, the Hellhound. Dark creatures are divided into high and low levels. The first order to third order are low-level dark creatures, the skeleton soldier is the lowest first order, and the Hellhound is the second order. The muffled sound just now was caused by the two guards being slapped by the Hellhound. At this time, the round shields in the hands of the two people were already smashed. Fortunately, because of the protection of the round shields, the two of them have now climbed up swayingly. You all back away, I'll deal with this Hellhound. Nerent roared when he saw this, and then quickly moved towards the Hellhound to welcome him. The current Hellhound has not fully recovered its action, and Nerent must deal with it as soon as possible, otherwise, when it recovers, it can completely fight with a junior bronze knight. Roar. The Hellhound was the size of a calf, and its body was covered with dark red blood, which was extremely ferocious and terrifying. Seeing Nerent rushing towards it, he immediately bared his teeth and showed his sharp fangs.